Hey guys, I want to take a few moments today and kind of talk to you a little bit about the sick concerns that we have, not only this month, but in previous months as well. So, in order to do that, I want to kind of give us a little bit of a backstory to why this process is in place. So, 4 years ago, when I came to Pactolus, um, I wanted to implement this process to give teachers the opportunity to voice their concerns over things that were happening in the school. And the ultimate goal was to, of course, become a better school. Over the years, things have happened, such as COVID, and those sick concerns have turned into more of school complaints. And I don't want to try to tell anybody not to voice concerns or complaints. Um, but I want us to talk about a little bit of what's the difference between a concern and a little bit of a a complaint. I'm not trying to downgrade anybody's educational level at all. You all understand that, but I just kind of want to make sure that we have the correct processes and channels in place so that we can move forward as a school. Right now, it's a very tough environment in education, and we continue down the path that we're going. I feel like we will continue to breed a toxic environment that is full of a lot of complaining. If for those of you that have been with me since the beginning, when I was here 4 years ago, you know that I don't listen to a lot of complaining, but I understand in this day and time that I need to, and I have adapted my leadership style in order to do that. So I know that venting is also something that has to happen. It needs to happen in education. I vent all the time to the people that are around me. Y'all hear me vent as well. And those things are important. But I just want to make sure that when we're talking about school improvement concerns versus complaints versus pointing fingers at one another, that we are mindful of how we do things and how we carry ourselves. Because, as is mentioned in the handbook, professionalism is very, very important. And this doesn't just reflect this November sick concerns, but I have noticed in August and September and October sick concerns as well that we're starting to trend a certain way. So I want to take a few moments just to kind of go over a couple of things. Okay. So whenever you have a concern that involves a certain individual or a certain group, such as, say, kindergarten, such as Encore or custodians or office staff, um, those complaints, of course, are very, very important. But I ask that you be very mindful that if it involves a certain individual or if it involves a group of individuals, ask yourself, is this something that needs to be for everyone in the school to see? Or is this something that can be brought up with school administration that maybe that might be a better way to deal with things? Um, that's something that is very, very important that we don't to continue to do things like that, because like I said, it's just going to create a very, very toxic environment. Okay. Like I said, venting is something that needs to happen. I remember as a teacher, venting was what helped me get through the day. I've vented about administration. I've been about the district. I've been about my next door neighbor, anything and everything. And I get those things, and those things have to happen in order to keep your sanity. All that I ask is that you be very mindful of how you do it, when you do it, and who you do it around as well. So I'm going to go through real quickly. I haven't done this before, but I wanted to be all available and give you an opportunity to not only read my explanation to these concerns, but also hear. Sometimes things can be misconstrued through text and email and written words. So being able to actually listen to my reasoning through some of these things hopefully will help you understand as well. So we're going to start with the pre-K through second grade concerns. So this first one up here was talking about if there was a note or something like that that's given from the school to be sent home, that if the teachers could be made aware of those things so they can help bring those notes and information back. I greatly appreciate teachers wanting to help out with this process. We often send things home and And unfortunately, we don't get them back. So I appreciate that. I do want to say that. Um, I also want to say this as well, that it's hard for me as a school leader when I have so many individuals underneath me that are, sending letters and notes home. It's really hard for me to mandate that as a school leader, to say everybody that sends something home, make sure you talk to the teacher and let them know what's going on as well. Um, I would love to be able to, but there's also some things that are not also that shouldn't also be shared with the teacher. Some things are kept private for a reason. So I can't necessarily mandate that, but I am asking that if teachers would reach out to any individual that's sending things home and say, "Hey, can you help me understand this so I can help you along this process?" You are more than welcome to do that. And if that person can't share anything with you, then they will share that with you. But thank you for being cognizant and wanting to help out with that. It's just hard for me to mandate with everybody, with all the different individuals underneath me, and say, hey, every time y'all send a letter home, make sure you let the teacher know. Non-homeroom teachers being aware of IEPs, especially behavior IEPs. Some things I guess have been witnessed. So I ask that everyone make sure that you are understanding and reading the IEPs of your students. We kind of know, if you've been here long enough, that there are certain students that do require a little bit of extra love and attention. So I'm asking that make sure everybody goes on MyNCEA Cloud and reviews everybody's IEP on ECATS. If you don't know how to do that, make sure you touch base with Ms. Gavadoris, Mr. B, and Ms. Kroll, and they can assist with that. Also, teachers, if you have certain behavior concerns in your classroom, and your child leaves your classroom to go to another one, just share some things as well. I know that might be helpful for some other individuals, such as Encore teachers. So be mindful of that. As you can see, I've highlighted this concern or this complaint because it did highlight certain individuals. And once again, we're just trying to eliminate that. The third concern up here from pre-K through second was talking about Project Equal After School, that teachers were not made aware, and they would have sent them on the bus. Understand that, completely get that. I do want to remind all teachers that at the beginning of the year, during the school year, I asked that everybody create rosters in Educator's Handbook. And the due date for that was August the 20th. If you have rosters in the Educator's Handbook, make sure that you click the bell in the top right corner of Educator's Handbook. That will alert you to any time that one of your students in your classroom gets a referral, whether it be the bus, whether it be Project Equal, whatever it may be, you will be alerted to that individual getting a referral. So therefore, it eliminates the need to let you know. To be honest with you, when I have done Project Equal before, I haven't alerted the teacher sometimes, and that's unfortunately sometimes my issue, my problem, I know. But this is a foolproof way that, hey, if you do that, then you will be alerted to it every time. 3-5, starting with 3-5. So Encore and lunch are very close together for certain grade levels, and that means one bathroom break. First of all, I understand, I completely apologize for that. What I said in the possible solutions is that as far as the K-8 schedule goes, I think we all already know that it's a bear, it's a beast. Here's what I am eliciting the support of anybody in the school that they would like to take this on. If you would like to look at creating a master schedule for us next school year, I have listed here just the start of the parameters that are required in creating a K-8 schedule. So if you would like to take these parameters, and if you want to go ahead and get started on something, got plenty of time for us to look at it in the springtime. Put something together. Like I said, this is the starting list. After you've kind of created a master schedule, that doesn't just benefit one grade level. That's one thing to be very, very important about, that you encompass everybody's needs and wants, or not needs, or no, not wants, but needs. Once you incorporate all those things, then come and share those with me, and we can look at it and we can talk and say, oh, I like this, or let's tweak this, or something like that. know we have great leaders in the school. So if you would like to take this list, get started. There's some other things I just didn't want to inundate with a bunch of information, but if there's some stuff out there that you want to look at together, I will be more than glad to look at that. Bus dismissal is happening, or it's not dismissal, it's actually arrival. Bus arrival is happening earlier than 7:30 and students are going into the classrooms. You're right, 100%. So we have been letting students into school at 7:25, 7:26. That allows us to get 2 or 3 buses through the breakfast line. And that will allow you as a teacher to get started sooner. If you have students, and we've been trying to catch them and make sure they go into the cafeteria. If you have students that come to your classroom, please go ahead and send them to the cafeteria if that's before 7:30. We try our best to make sure that we capture them and get them into the cafeteria. Because if we don't do a couple, 2 or 3 buses before 7:30, then as I noted here, and a concern from next month will be I'm not able to start teaching at 8:10 until 8:10, 8:15. So it's kind of one of those things, darn if you do, darn if you don't. We're not gonna make everybody happy. But if you do have kids come to you before 7:30, you have the freedom to say you need to go to the cafeteria and wait. Cleaning up food spills. We're going to make sure that we can get some extra trash bags for everybody. That's something that I think is an easy fix that we can do. Paper towels are a little bit more difficult. Those are given to us from the county along with trash bags. But paper towels, as you can imagine with COVID, limited supplies. So I can't necessarily say that we have more, we can give additional paper towels, but we can look at trash bags. Please put paper in copier trays when it says load. Once again, I'm not sure how I, as an administrator, can do or fix this problem. I wish we could all just be adults and make sure that we're looking out for one another as well. I always hate playing daddy. At the beginning of the year, it was discussed that lunch could be on a schedule, even in the cafeteria. So our numbers have started to decrease. So I will start to look at that. This comment right here, it kind of aligns with the question up here about trash bags. So we'll make sure that we can get some more trash bags. Once again, I edited it just a little bit because it did pinpoint individuals. This one right here is burnout is high. Last week was too eventful between the half-day testing, family night, book fair, report cards, etc. All the extra to-dos plus the normal workload was too much. Given all this, is hard to focus on lessons, MTSS spreadsheets. So when I look at this question, I'll be honest with you, I had a hard time responding to it. And I apologize if I am stepping on some toes. But this is a question or a concern that it really didn't make much sense to me. So this says all the extra to-dos, but when I look at this list right here, the only thing that was an extra to-do was family night, and last time I checked, that was optional. So I'm gonna leave that one for the whole school to see. Yeah, moving on. 6.8. So there's an assumption by staff that new teachers know everything they need to know about routines, procedures, supplies, and equipment. It's not the case. There's often no time to ask additional things there. So I recognize that as a school, we're all on edge. This question, I followed up with the individual. I think we can work on some certain things in-house. But once again, we're all on edge, guys. All I ask is that you work with one another. Let me be the bad guy. That's not my ultimate role and what I want to do, but unfortunately it's a role I have had to embrace many times before. So please don't go down each other's throats. Allow me to deal with certain things. And just, it sounds cliche, but you got to be nice to one another. At the end of the day, the person across the hallway, down the hallway, in the school has your back more so than anybody else. And if we don't feel that way, then there's not much I can do moving forward. The constant online security trainings from the district, I agree. I understand that's a lot of requirements that are kind of silly. I wish I could assist with that. I will take this concern to our PAPA committee and see if there is something that can be said or done, or maybe limit some certain things. Gradebook checks. This person said that with so much being asked of staff, putting in grades should be a lower concern. So I'm not sure how grades can be a lower concern. So grades should be, as I said here, a top tier concern. Grades are associated with what's going on in that classroom, and putting them into the grade book and making sure you have grades are very important. Last year I gave the staff the year where I did not do grade book checks because I said, all right, I want to see what the staff can do. And unfortunately, everybody struggled with that. And there were numerous parent complaints. I hate doing the micromanaging things that I do. And I hate it. I wish we could all do what we were supposed to at certain times, but unfortunately we don't. So that's how we're going to continue with these gradebook check-ins. So kindergarten, the next one is dealing with Encore. So it's talking about having the class and a half is getting to be a lot. And get that, understand that. Keep in mind next year, this will be the last year we do it. Next year, we will have an additional Encore teacher, so that will help out with some things. The suggestion that was given was let TA watch Miss Hefner's class during PLC and then give her a class of her own during a different time. That's extremely unfair to Miss Hefner's classroom, as I am essentially saying Miss Hefner's classroom should not have exposure to music, art, PE, any of those type of things. And I should just have Miss Sutton teach that class. I want to say that again so that everybody can hear, so understand why that's not a viable option. I am essentially saying to a group of 17 students that you should not have access to music from a certified teacher, art from a certified teacher, PE from a certified teacher, computer from a certified teacher, media from a certified teacher. And instead, I'm going to have Miss Sutton give all those expose you to those. It's the last time I'm going to say that. I'm more than open to any other suggestions with this, but that is just not a viable solution. Classified concerns, the water fountain at the end of K2 hallway. That I have noticed that there's a lot of students that go there in the morning time to fill up the water bottle. The water bottles are great, and they're also a curse at the same time. I get that. The solution was to send one student at a time. If I'm, say, Miss Hopkins' classroom at the end of the hallway, how do I know that there's only one student at a water fountain at a time? So that's a question. I'm open to some other ideas. Let's brainstorm some things. K2, classified also had this concern. Let's brainstorm some things. I'm just not sure even if each teacher sends one student at a time, that is 9 students at the water fountain. So let's talk about it and think about some things. So once again, I wanted to provide you just an overview of our SIT concerns and kind of going forward. I want to make sure that if it involves an individual or a group of individuals, then have that conversation with that group first. Please don't always feel the need to run to mommy and daddy. Have those conversations. If you feel like it's too volatile of a situation, then please automatically include administration. But I would love to see these concerns be true school improvement concerns and not school complaints. Complaining and venting is so important at this time, but let's find the correct channel in order to do that. Thank you all very much.